Tonight on Connecticut's news station, stopping bear break-ins.
I mean, you could make loud noises, slam the door. They're not scared anymore.
We'll look at one plan state lawmakers say could reduce the record number of bears getting into homes.
Also, crime concerns in one Connecticut town. What police there are doing as more car thefts are reported across the state.
After being stuck in a rut the last couple of days, we are finally seeing some movement in the weather pattern. Warmer days ahead. We'll talk about when coming up.
Plus, the gift of Ben.
I've taken an 8-year-long journey to try to understand love and forgiveness.
How one Connecticut family is growing and teaching others after their baby boy died in a hot car nearly a decade ago.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we begin tonight with state lawmakers looking to stop the record number of bears breaking into homes. Good evening, I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Thanks for joining us here tonight at 10. A bill trying to do just that took a big step forward today. Fox 61's Gabby Molina joining us live outside the state capitol tonight to explain how that bill could help keep bears away from your home. Gabby.
Ben and Jen, that bill made it out of the Judiciary Committee today with bipartisan support. Now, under that bill, there would be some instances where killing bears would be allowed, but it also looks to hold people accountable for doing things that might attract bears to their homes. Bear sightings were once few and far between, but have now become a common occurrence in Connecticut.
I remember my first bear sighting was probably 13, 14 years ago, and it was a big deal then. And now not a week goes by that I don't have a bear at my home.
And with that, human-bear interactions have also become more common. In 2022, the state saw a record number of bear entries into homes. Just this week, a bear tried to enter a home in Avon, a few days after a bear bit a woman walking her dog in the same town.
This is becoming an increasingly dangerous issue here in the state of Connecticut.
Wednesday, a bill that aims to address the issue advanced a step further. The bill would allow people to use deadly force against a bear if it was harming a human, pet, or livestock. It would also allow for people to apply for a permit to kill bears that consistently cause damage to their crops.
It's a whole approval process. DEEP would have to approve that application. So it is not a regulated hunting season. That's one of the things that was originally in the bill that was taken out.
But animal advocates still have concerns.
The current language of this bill would allow everyone with a chicken or a beehive to get a permit to kill bears. Friends of Animals feels that that's really just a bear hunt in disguise.
Friends of Animals is part of the Connecticut Coalition to Protect Bears. They say they do support the other part of the bill, which looks to stop the intentional and unintentional feeding of bears.
Most of the bear-human interactions that are reported involve bird feeders and trash cans. The issue is residents unknowingly baiting bears with these attractants.
Under the bill, people could face a fine for failing to do things like taking bird feeders down or leaving pet food outdoors.
We need to change our behaviors so that we can live in concert with them and we can avoid these dangerous human-bear interactions.
Coming up on the news at 11, I'll have the details on a pilot program that animal advocates want to roll out here in Connecticut, citing its success in other states. Live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Well, we are following breaking news tonight out of Atlanta, where authorities have captured the man accused of carrying out a deadly mass shooting.
All of this happened inside of a medical facility this morning. Fox 61's Brent Harden in the Breaking News Center tonight with the new developments. Brent.
Yeah, Ben and Jen, that hours-long manhunt is over. Authorities say the suspect was captured outside the city in nearby Cobb County. 24-year-old Dion Patterson was taken into custody. Authorities focused their search outside the Midtown Atlanta area after Patterson allegedly carjacked a vehicle and drove into Cobb County. Patterson is accused of carrying out a mass shooting inside a medical building, killing one woman and injuring 4 other women. 3 of those who were wounded are still in critical condition tonight. None of the victims have been publicly identified at this time. When authorities updated the media about tonight's arrest, authorities credited more than just technology for helping bring this suspect to justice.
Technology played a huge role, but technology doesn't do any good without people who are determined to capture an individual that would do something like this. And today we saw where those two things came together in an amazing way.
Now, according to our sister station in Atlanta, Patterson was a former member of the U.S. Coast Guard, having been discharged from active duty back in January. The Coast Guard says its investigative service is working closely with Atlanta PD and local authorities in this mass shooting investigation. Here in the Breaking News Center, Brent Harden, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station. Ben, Jen, back to you.
Brent, thank you very much. And on the same day of that mass shooting at a medical facility, lawmakers and advocates here in Connecticut called on our state to protect healthcare workers. The rate of injuries from violent attacks against medical professionals jumped 63% from 2011 to 2018. One bill would give $5 million to hospitals to improve security measures and establish a marketing campaign to educate people about how medical workers are mistreated.
Another healthcare worker that I've worked with has been punched in the face and in the head multiple times by various patients, leading to multiple concussions.
You cared about patient safety, and it's time for you to take a look and care about workplace environment safety.
Passed unanimously in the Public Health Committee, and lawmakers are pushing for the State House to vote on it next week.
Let's get to the Weather Watch here. Time to check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for the first time. And Rachel, I think we're all just waiting for a little bit more sun here.
I know, me too, count me in. And we will get it just in time for the weekend. But before then, we're in for 2 very similar days tomorrow. Clouds, some sunshine, the chance for a brief passing shower, but most of the day will be dry. And that's going to be for Thursday and for Friday before we brighten things up. Meantime, showers have really filled back in here, at least for some parts of the state. We're seeing some more numerous showers, though, in northern Connecticut, stretching from Bristol over through Burlington. You'll see some rain through Litchfield, Cornwall, and Sharon. And on the other side of the state, we also have some showers and even locally heavier downpours here from Chaplin up through Ashford, Eastford, and Pomfret. So these will be kind of scattered across the state for the next couple of hours or so, but we should generally tend to get drier as we head towards daybreak. But the radar has shown this swirl of showers for the last several days, so we've got 2 more before we give that system the boot. Temperatures are in the 40s to right around 50 degrees, and we'll see overnight low temperatures drop back into the low to mid 40s as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, cloudy skies, chance for a spot shower. Some towns will see one, others may stay completely dry. Highs in the 50s, so we're cooler than average, but we'll talk more about that light at the end of the tunnel this weekend, how long those milder temperatures stick around, coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. New at 10 tonight, leaders in Berlin calling out state policing laws after a rise in crime in town.
Yeah, Berlin is just the latest town in our state on edge after several reports of vehicle thefts and break-ins. Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner talked with the town's police chief. She joins us out of Berlin with the chief's message for state lawmakers tonight. DeAndrea.
Well, you guys, they are increasing patrols here after this increase of break-ins. You can see officers are already gearing up to go out on the road tonight. Now, in a joint statement, the police chief, the mayor, the police commission chair, and a Berlin state representative said that certain laws are preventing them from doing their job, especially in the wave of car break-ins across the state and right here in Berlin. And I spoke with some community members who say that they don't feel safe anymore.
My ex-husband just had his car stolen in broad daylight right in front of his house. He was right in the doorway of his home.
Residents in Berlin are on edge as the town sees an uptick in crimes like car break-ins and thefts.
You can't do anything without locking your car. Like, I hear some noise in the middle of the night when I wake up with this one, and I'm like, is someone in my car? And I have to go out and check at like 2 o'clock in the morning because you have no idea.
So do you feel safe?
Not right now, I don't. No.
Berlin's police chief says the concerns of the people aren't falling on deaf ears. In a joint statement released by the police and local legislative officials, they say they are taking measures to prevent these crimes from happening. During high crime activity hours, residents can expect to see special anti-crime patrols.
We have our officers working double shifts.
Also in the statement, officials say that they are held back by the response restrictions placed on policing practices by the state legislator.
We need to look at what was successful previously that we might have cast off, what's successful now that we're trying, and marry the two of them together.
A big concern community members have is a lack of consequences for the crimes being committed.
I think they just need to be a little more strict when they do catch them.
In the statement, officials addressed that concern too, stating that police response to young people has legally changed, saying, quote, much of the current crime wave hitting our community is being perpetrated by juveniles. The chief feels that something has to change in order for them to do their jobs properly.
What's happened is we have a revolving door when it comes to juvenile offenders. The system is saturated, and it really gets down to the basics. What are the consequences?
And now the chief also tells me that most of these patrols are going to be between 10 p.m. and the early hours of the next morning, because that's when most of these car break-ins are happening. And he's ensuring the community that they're doing the best that they can. But if you feel unsafe or something happens to you, to continue to call 911. For now in Berlin, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, DeAndrea. Well, we are following developing news right now out of the Litchfield Hills tonight, where state police are still looking for a missing camper out of Kent. Police say 60-year-old Marta Renee Bowen went missing from her campsite on the Appalachian Trail. She has gray hair, brown eyes, and is 5'7". Troopers say she may be wearing a maroon puffer jacket and dark pants. Her cell phone and hiking gear were left behind. If you have any information that could help find her, please call state police. All right, we are following some breaking news in the sports world. In Hartford tonight, the Wolfpack failed to sweep their playoff series.
Yeah, the Pack is in the playoffs for the first time since 2015, but they'll have to wait at least 2 more days to try and clinch their series against Providence. The Bruins beat the Wolfpack 6-3 in Game 3 at the XL Center tonight. Hartford trailed 3-0, but made it 4-3 late in the third period before Providence scored twice in the last 2 minutes. Hartford still leads the series 2-1. Game 4 will be Friday night at 7 p.m. Fox 61 Sports Director Jonah Karp was at the game. He'll join us for highlights later on this hour in sports.
There's also some sad news in hockey tonight. The creator of the iconic Hartford Whalers logo has died. Peter Good passed away last night. Good and his wife worked together as graphic designers and artists out of their home in Chester. Good created the iconic logo when the team changed its name from the New England Whalers in 1979 as it moved from the WHA to the NHL. The green W and blue whale tail combined to make a white H for Hartford. The Whalers logo has more than outlived the team. We all know it. Which became the Carolina Hurricanes in 1997. Connecticut has official license plates with the logo, and many stores across the state still sell Whalers gear. It's all over the state.